Welcome to the RavenCourt playoffs, everybody! So, we're back to some European tournament shenanigans, and currently we have no draft rules in this one either. So, no draft restrictions, just normal vanilla tournament. And before we're actually heading into this game, also a quick note, I'm actually sick. So, I had a fever, a mild one the last 1-2 days, and still a bit of a headache. I think I have a cold, but I'm not quite sure if it's going to affect me, so if occasionally I'll mute myself for just a second because I have to sneeze or blow my nose, then yeah, sorry for that. But if there is anything or anything weird happening in the game, then you know what the reason is. I'm still gonna try to soldier through the game today and cast everything. If it gets too bad at some point, then I'll stop the recordings and the stream and I'll do it from replays later, but the goal would be to go through this completely. So Dragonshire is our first map. This is a best of 5. We're currently in the playoffs. We have 4 teams in the playoffs and it is a double elimination system. So this is one of the winner bracket semifinals. We have on the left the Exodia stack, Benny playing, which is already awesome, Cure playing cross server from North America, and then you have Team Captain Dino here, and they're going up against the top 2, which in this case is a team centered around Play, Banana H, and Azovsky on it. So quite a strong lineup for both of these teams. If you would push one of them into the top spot, it would probably be the Exodia stack. But first pick in this case at least goes over to top 2, and they're taking Blaze immediately. So we got Dragonshire. I mean, with Dragonshire just in general, obviously one of the most macro-intense maps, if you so want, when it comes down to the objective, because you need to control 2 points. Actually, you need to control 3, since you need to channel the middle of the map as well. So oftentimes the first objective is either snuck in very, very early as a little bit of a sneaky move, or it can also happen very late if teams are really diligent about trading shrines, making sure that they are denying the Dragonite in the middle. Jojo for Benny, and we get Hanzo. And it kind of makes me happy, honestly, that we see Benny here. It's going to be fun, and see how he's going to perform here. It's already funny to me that he didn't immediately go for his Varian again, because the last time that we saw him again, Varian was one of his absolute go-tos. And this was probably one of the most fun phases that we had during that time. Junkrat and Rega on the other side. And I mean, we're coming freshly from the Korean tournament here. So if you haven't checked that out yet, there's a playlist on the YouTube channel that you can have a look at. The whole tournament where we had Korea playing one Chinese team as well. That got quite far in the tournament. So there was a lot of Korea versus China battles going on over there. And you can see some clear differences in the meta already. I mean, over in Korea, Vala an absolute staple as an early pick or an early ban. Here now in Europe, we haven't seen her addressed at all so far in this one. And there's a couple of other heroes, of course, as well, that have just a much, much higher priority. And again, if you're interested in different metas, we just had the Korea tournament, but before that we also had the North America Cup. So quite a lot of different regional content that's on the channel right now. So if you have missed out on any of it, you can find it on YouTube. The playlist should be up to date. If they're not, then please leave me a comment and let me know. Zagara banned out. Yeah, well, that's something that obviously Dino loves to do on Dragonshire. So Zagara in the 3rd ban position gets eliminated. And we get Malfurion and Hogger. Alright, so Malfurion is in the house. It's really funny to me now looking, at these picks and just like trying to compare it a bit in what we've seen in the Korea Cup. The ban against Chromie, for example. I've been highlighting that a lot when we were going through those games on the Asia server. How Chromie is just basically non-existent over there. And here she is just such a high priority for a lot of the teams. And it gets addressed immediately in the first draft of this best of 5. Mirrodin and Tracer to round out the draft for top 2 for the red team. And that leaves us with Dino as the X-Factor pick there towards the end. So Kyo currently finds himself in Hanzo. They can always swap him over if they want to. Copenhagen with Hogger will go up against Blaze at the top lane if they're continuing with the draft as is. And that leaves us only with a bit more damage that they need. So what's Dino gonna do? I personally expected Genji to at least be addressed a little bit. And well, there he is. So Genji gets picked. We have the Shimada brothers united. And with that, we're heading into game number 1 of the best of 5 here in the winner bracket semifinal of the RavenCourt playoffs on Dragonshire. Alright, off we go. Game number 1. Over on the left side, ladies and gentlemen. The Exodia stack with Dino and Genji. We got Hogger played by Copenhagen. We're getting Benny on Johanna, Cure on Hanzo, and Malfurion gets played by Yasu. As they're going up against top 2, the team on the right in red with Play on Junkrat. We're getting Johan on Muradin. Play is played by Casper on the side lane. Danozovsky with Rhaegar, and we get Banana H with Parting Gift. Essentially what Banana H said after the last Captain's Draft tournament is apparently that he's absolutely done playing any kind of support and he just wants to play damage from here on out. And that is essentially what they're doing here. So yep, it's all about him trying to get in some extra damage for the team and provide some of that DPS prowess that he brings to the table. So now all of that is going fairly well. And let's see how much he can do. If he can nibble a little bit and get a kill there, then hey, even better. Right now, down at the bottom, already a bit of an attack against Cure, who's really in trouble and might likely fall, and gets destroyed by Junkrat. Cure destroyed, he's first blood in the game, laubering it up a bit in game number 1 of this best of 5 series. All of the matches here until we're reaching the grand final best of 5 to my knowledge. So yeah, we'll update you as we proceed throughout the tournament. And in the meantime, here in the middle, Benny obviously with Johanna. I mean, Johanna, first of all, is really nice for that extra wave clear, but also she's really, really good to interrupt any kind of channel that we're seeing over here in the middle. So this is something that will be used with shield glare as the game continues. Benny very likely going to focus on that a bit, and we're going to sit quite a lot in the middle in order to make that work, unless he's of course needed for actual team fights. Bit of an attack here by Johan. I don't really think they're fully going to commit to those siege giants. Not with Jojo being around at the bot lane and Genji visible in the middle in just a moment. But Muradin is still saying like, hey, I'm here, I'm going to know you guys a little bit. So yeah, be careful. In the meantime, with 1 kill to 0, we have at the top still the push happening here from Casper. Both of the teams obviously choosing their mercenary camps. Bruiser's on the way. Now with the siege giants down at the bottom, the blue team has a bit of an advantage for a short time being, since top 2 hasn't taken their siege giants. So here's essentially the opportunity for the red team to see if they can do some structural damage. If they get a kill before that, I mean, even better. But Muradin is moving in as Hanzo tries to get the final hit and soaks up the shots and the damage. So everybody's still alive on the side of top 2. Full control, and that's a Dragon Knight. Dino gets it in the middle. The team has been able to sneak it in before 2:30. We have the DK. They need to sacrifice Johanna for that, but hey, absolutely worth it. Hogger pushing at the top. Dragon Knight now sitting in the middle. I mean, at this point, honestly, what more do you want? A bit of early game damage. Dragon Knight gets fully baited over here. That's a lot of time that was just wasted. And Genji decides that it's time to just go down to the bottom of the map. Drop a couple of Dragon's Breaths over here. Yeah, well, actually, he doesn't really seem to know where he wants to go. I mean, eventually he is going to... I don't think he's going to fall because he's going to run out of time. But with him moving back, that of course allows for more damage to be dished out as well. So, quick asking for Junkrat here. There's been all those 4 talents in. Yeah, and I don't know, I wish he would have done a little bit more with the Dragon's Breath. I really think him getting baited to get a kick in on Junkrat and then failing to do that shut him down pretty quickly. So they get part of the wall in the middle and that's it. Early Dragon Knight, you don't get a lot. Destroying the wall is something that would have still been fairly nice. But yeah, when it didn't scale yet and you have like a mega early DK, you usually don't get a lot of value out of it, but at least in this case I think they could have done a bit more with it. So Jojo eats the Stormbolt and that could be a problem. Yep, seems like Benny's down again, but at least they're trading tanks with Muradin falling 2. Each team is now down to 4. But Genji gets caught and killed. So Genji gets eliminated here. Quick hit against him, and very little to be done in this case from Dino. So yep, a Dino down doesn't stand a chance here. Q is already starting to jump out too. Yeah, but it's a nice spicy back and forth, and I gotta say, I did not really think that it would be the team in red that just gets the early kill lead. They have 4 kills now, 2-1. Looking very good here. The leading experience isn't anything crazy. It's basically barely half a level, honestly. But yeah, not too bad. So, with that now said and done, Benny is still here in the middle. Top side, that's where they have a bit of added pressure. There's Copenhagen against Casper. who's trying to hold the lane. Next objective announced too in just a moment. And then off we go. So the next attack is coming. Benny, careful, moving in again, trying to go for Tracer this time. Genji comes in for a quick hit, but Banana H is able to move out. No problems for him, so still surviving throughout all of this without any big problems. And down at the bottom of the map now, we got Hanzo going up against Junkrat. Yeah, Q obviously has to also battle with a ping disadvantage. I mean, one of the things, again, that I always point out when we have a player play cross-server is that they have a ping disadvantage. You can always argue and quibble about how big the disadvantage is, and it's oftentimes dependent on where exactly a player is from exactly. But the one thing that nobody can really argue is that you do not have one at all. So there is always an inherent disadvantage when you're playing cross-server. And in this case, I gotta highlight that Cure is regularly doing that on the European server. He's one of the few players from North America that does it, and all praise to him. I find it absolutely awesome. We have a few others that occasionally do it, players like Madara, but Cure is the one that you will find time and time again subbing in for a team, maybe even playing with the team as one of the full 5-man. And that despite all of the disadvantages with ping that just happen in case of you playing on a different server than your own. So yeah, big shout out to him. And Cure, in this case, escaping from Tracers. Banana H was trying to jump in for a quick move. So far, so good. Now, with that, we're having at the top still a bit of a pressure play being made with the next camp that they just locked in. Now, that is going to be met by a Bruiser camp on the red team side, always assuming that they're going to get best time, so that it arrives at the top. But this obviously allows for a bit of extra time on the side of the blue team now to get themselves a potential kill, and they're trying to get one against Junkrat, and he goes down. So Exodia stack with a quick hit against Junkrat. They are able to take him on. I believe this is also the second time that Junkrat has fallen, if I'm not mistaken. Nope, I am Muradin has died earlier. Yep. Ah, Junkrat got one of the kills earlier. That's what I'm remembering. So, 17,000 damage for Genji, 14,000 for Hanzo. So the Shimada brothers currently in full swing here. Both of them with more damage than the top damage dealer on the opponent's side. Yeah, nice attempt at grabbing a Dragonite, but down here with Dino very quickly making sure that he is going to grab up the shrine for the team. Not really a problem for them. Exodia stack at this point, trying to also invade again on the Siege Giant camp. So far not working. Here comes the Riptide on the other hand. Bunker is already out. They're going for the big fight. Tranquility is being used, and it seems like nobody's going to die. Ancestral is good. The arrow from Hanzo connects in the back, but they're going for Copenhagen and Horga. They're all low. They're fully committed now. Horga is down, and they're starting to chase Bad Benny as well. Benny is getting chased. They want him, and they're getting him. That's 2 kills for the blue team. So once again, they're pulling ahead, but Rega is also dying. So that's another one. Cure is getting killed too. And they're going for more. So hit after hit is currently coming from both of the teams. They're just exchanging blows here, but it's really the blue team that is missing most of the heroes now. Dino gets attacked and barely makes it out, but damn. Gets a quick heal, but whew, they are really in some trouble. And that's a Dragonite for the red team now as well. And just look at part of that fight. This is actually after they got the kill on Jojo, and then the follow-up against Rega. So Dino coming in and taking Rega down was really nice, but the Stormbolt connecting, as you can see here, with Cure and the Haymaker afterwards, shut him down as well. And those are exactly the kind of plays that they need to make right now if they want to snowball that game further. And they're already looking really good here. We have them with nearly a level lead. They have 4 kills ahead. The Dragonite that they were able to get allowed them to push at the bottom and the mid lane at the same time. And especially down here at the bottom of the map, it will very soon cost the blue team one of their forts. I mean, this one is not going to survive for much longer. At any point, let's say Junkrat makes a move over, we're going to get that. Also, right now, Haymaker actually was useful for the red team. We'll see how much they can do with it as the game continues. I'm always very skeptical of Haymaker. Not a fan, not at all. But Johan made it at least work in the fight that they had just a second ago and was able to use it in order to help them to get a kill here. So if they could continue that pattern, then hey, by all means go for it. But let's see how Meridian's survivability is going to hit during the later stages of the game. If they're still going to be able to make those plays or not. But as it stands right now, the lead definitely goes to the red team. So they are a bit ahead here in the first game of this best of 5. Now a quick reminder that that is a double elimination bracket. So whichever team loses this best of 5 series will not be eliminated from the tournament, but instead drop down into the losers bracket and still has a chance to go for an epic losers bracket run to make it all the way up to the finals. And since we only have 4 teams in the playoffs, that is actually something, you know, where it's going to get quite interesting, because it's a pretty small bracket. There's not really a whole lot of teams in there, which means that also a potential loser bracket run would be a relatively short one, so that you wouldn't have to play a mad amount of games that you do when you have, let's say, 8 teams in the playoffs, and play that out completely. Pogga with his usual shenanigans, just ponging around here and doing his thing. We have level 16 now already on the board for the red team, so they're starting to pull even further ahead on this one. Yeah. And I mean, not too shabby with that in the situation that they find themselves in right now. They've still not eliminated the fort at the bottom of the map. That's probably one of the things where I'm personally a little bit skeptical and looking at it and thinking like, okay, maybe they could have tried and get Junkrat in at any point. You know, make a bit of a play there, use Junkrat to try and take that fort out. As soon as you have catapults on the lane, that at least gives you a bit of a reprieve when your opponent is pushing. And as the game continues, you obviously have also a lot of momentum that you can start to build up if catapults keep pushing the lanes. So once that Winion time kicks in, maybe you get a fort out of it, a keep out of it, or you know, maybe you get some damage on the core, whatever it may be. You have no globals in the game, so taking that out would probably be worth it. Also, since you make it much easier for yourselves to grab the bottom shrine in that case. But it hasn't happened yet. Neither have they attacked the one in the middle. So none of those have been taken out yet. We're having, at the same time now, Casper also sitting here still in the middle. Everybody is starting to center their attention around the top lane for now in an attempt to go for the fort here. Blue team wants to have a bit of a fight. They've picked up their own level 16 talent, of course, by now too. So we get the final cut. And the red team is threatening, at least for a few seconds, another dragon. Nothing that they can follow up on just yet. But they're the ones with some pressure, and there's finally that fort getting destroyed down at the bottom of the map. Play is making his move there. They have been definitely waiting for this. So, yep, they're grabbing that. And then here in the middle. Oh ho ho! Muradin! I mean, to be fair to him, not even Avatar would have helped him in this case. I mean, that was definitely way too much for him to handle, as you can see right here. I mean, check that out. Muradin at the top right at this point. So they sniff him out, they get the vision, and then shockwave, arrow, and bam! Everything unleashed. Muradin falls, he's dead, doesn't stand a chance. And now the numbers advantage for the blue team, which they're immediately trying to use in order to get themselves a bit ahead here. So, yeah. Can they get another Dragonite? They're definitely pushing for it now, but the defense should be ready. And Muradin is only down for another 8 seconds. But yeah, they're gonna get it. DK for Dino, the second one. 18 to 18 right now. And Dino with that second Dragonite is definitely gonna do a bit more damage than with the previous one. Now that we're 30 minutes into the game, we can start to do some serious work on this. So, yep, this is exactly what we're gonna get. Or should. So far the Dragonite is basically just acting as bait for the red team and is baiting them towards the middle, allowing the rest of them to potentially dish out some damage or lay a trap, which seems a bit more likely given the positioning of Benny here. If they're able to follow up with some extra kills, I mean, hey, even better. But, quick hit. Dragonite, be careful here. It's taking a lot of damage already from that fort too. Shockwave coming out again, and Johan might die once more. Johan is low and goes down. Playmaker. Sorry guys, as I said, I'm not a little bit sick here. So, Jojo also down, at least they're trading. So they've been trading tanks. But they still haven't taken a fort down. It's actually mind-blowing to me. I mean, yes, granted, we're only 13 minutes in, but we're on level 19 and they haven't destroyed a fort. This one will now fall, I suppose. But I really thought that they would not only take it out with the Dragonite, but then even push maybe for the wall, for the top, for the bottom, for anything else. But that hasn't happened. So now it's half a level until we're hitting 20 for top 2. And it is a pretty wild first game. I mean, again, this is a best of 5 series, so we're starting things off with a bang already, and I'm absolutely here for it. 45,000 damage for Genji as the top damage dealer for the blue team, and then over on the red team side, we're getting 36,000 from Junkrat. 8 kills to 5, and obviously with the death timers now increasing, this is really where if you can get additional kills, things are gonna get quite interesting. So, how far can they go with this? By now we have, yeah, Casper sitting over in the middle. Level 20 is ready. That gives us for Muradin also Hardened Shield. So this is going to help him a lot. If you are letting go of Avatar in favor of Haymaker, then the survivability that you get with level 20 is at least something that can mitigate some of your problems. Stormbolt sieging up at the bottom. Has a camp at the top that is pushing for the red team's fort, but they are really determined to take out that wall down here. Yeah, but the top fort is going to fall, so this one is going to get destroyed. Not sure if that was necessarily the best trade for them, honestly. It's definitely going to cost them a bit. Riptire's coming in, just getting a quick hit there, but they will have to retreat here. They're not going to completely follow through with this now. And losing the top side fort is a bit of a nuisance, because that's the second one now falls on the red team side, and structurally they're actually behind by now. Because of that very reason right here. So yeah, definitely a bit of a problem. But hey, we'll see what they can do with a potential Dragonite, because with the next one, I mean, that's what the teams are essentially going to fight for. Trying to get the next Dragonite and then make your play there. Alright. Bottom of the map, arrow is out. And Junkrat is dead. Junkrat gets deaded, gets destroyed at the bot lane, and that opens up an opportunity to take the next fort out and therefore eliminate all the outer structures for defense, all the forts, all the fountains, which is probably more important. So it is the blue team that is starting to take full control of this game. They've been behind for a long time now, not only in experience, but also in kills and structures. But in the last few minutes, they've really turned things around. They have basically equalized the amount of experience. We're at level 20 anyway, so level 21 in this case, so it doesn't matter too much. But more importantly, taking all of those forts was a big one. Now, looking again at the stats for a second, by the way. Muradin died 3 times, kinda highlighting my point again about Playmaker. He was targeted quite a bit, and as the tank that obviously happens a lot. If you coordinate your efforts real nicely, then tanks are oftentimes a big target. If you're talking about puppy games, one of the memes that has been around since an eternity is like, never target the tank. Obviously a load of bull, but it's a bit of a difference of whether or not you are playing with a team that can coordinate abilities and is on the same page, or whether you're just randomly dishing out damage. So in this case, everyone is going for the same target when called, and we've seen that earlier against Muradin when he was absolutely annihilated within half a second, as all the stuns were pretty much disabling him completely. So now they're still taking the Siege Giants here, nice. Siege Giants are claimed, Blessed Shield is out, arrow, shockwave, Tracer dodges in, the Ancestral on Rhaegar, but the second one doesn't even hit anymore. Rhaegar is down, very nice attack from the Exodia stack. I thought for a moment that Rhaegar might be able to get away with the second Ancestral connecting, but they had too much damage. The damage output was ridiculous. And this is kill number 7 now for the blue team. So they're doing better and better and better here. I mean, really well done by them. As topside, we're now seeing the Shrine being fought over. Dino though moving in. He has to be a bit careful here. He was all alone. He shouldn't over-chase him though. Hoggar's shutting that attempt out pretty quickly. At the bottom of the map, the Shrine has already been taken. Sending nobody down here. Blaze, uh-oh, they're in trouble now. Blaze forced to get the bunker out, but yeah, they're getting slowly away. As the bullseye was hit too. Another 14 seconds for Rhaegar. By the time that he's back, the next Dragonite will already be claimed. Yeah, essentially that's already a given. So they're not going to be able to do anything about that decay. And this is going to be the third one for the team. I mean, right now you would expect that they're going to be able to do a bit more with that. All the forts are obviously already gone, so what you're essentially aiming for is a keep. Traditionally, the bot lane is what all of the teams are focusing on. It's where you can set big pushes up with mercenary camps, so normally this is where you really want to get most of the aggression going. And this is exactly what they're doing here. From the perspective of the red team, it's a little bit of an annoying situation, because they were ahead for such a long time and controlled the game, and now they're falling farther and farther behind, and they really are having trouble to take the initiative in this game. They're playing a very reactive game at this point, and it's mainly because the blue team is setting up so many traps that they're falling for, and it's just nicely executed. I mean, Dino and his boys are getting quick attacks through, big damage, a lot of CC that they're using here too. Riptire to take, I suppose, the minion wave out and just zone them out a little bit. Okay, already happening here. Dragonite gets slowly burned down as well. There's a punt happening here, okay. But that keep is gone. Dragonite, 20 minutes in, is definitely doing more than enough damage to take a keep on. And let's not forget, at the top they also have another camp that's currently pushing. So not only are we getting them with the bottom keep that gets destroyed, but also more pressure at the top lane that is now being dealt with by the entire top 2 team. So all of them have started to move onto the lane in order to make sure that they're not losing out on too much here. But if you're looking over towards the middle, the DK barreling through that wall, trying to also get some ability damage at a minimum onto the keep. Still no keep. I mean, the bottom keep has fallen, but outside of that, nothing else. I mean, there's still a chance for the red team to make their way back into this, but in order to make that work, they really need some kills now. So they need to find an opportunity to get a good CC chain going, and they got the tools for that, but it makes it really difficult. And a lot is going to hinge on Murdet and his ability to connect a decent Stormbolt with anybody, unless it's going to be a long, drawn-out fight between the two teams. Siege Giants obviously are trying to alleviate as much pressure as you can from the bot lane if you're now in that situation. Damage output 50,000 for Junkrat, 62,000 for Hanzo, who has now taken over on the top damage. And on the other side we then have his brother with 55,000. An attack here now as well, down at the bottom of the map, alright. Trying to get all of that settled. Dragonite is obviously, or the shrines are not up right now. Once that happens, the next Dragonite for the blue team is probably going to end the game. Now, to be fair, the next Dragonite is probably going to happen around 24 minutes. So at that point, very likely, no matter who takes the Dragonite, it's going to be the final one, I would assume. But yeah, we'll see. Morfurin done an excellent job throughout the entire game so far. Hasn't even died yet. That's one of the squishies that's not too bad. Dino a bit low, but is able to get away. Riptire now against Johanna. Still totally fine there. But a really nice attack that they were attempting to get off against Dino here. So now that they have at least Genji for a moment a bit out of the picture and forced him back. A bit more wiggle room, but Dino's already back to business. So Hearth back real quickly. Also making sure that he doesn't pressure his healer too much. But now we have 4 seconds on the shrines, and, well, off we go. So, right now, first one is already taken. This is really what it comes down to. As equal as the two teams have been throughout the entire game, this is essentially what it's going to come down to. This particular Dragonite. I would be surprised if this wouldn't end the game one way or another. Ancestral is out very, very early in the fight. Mirrodin wants the Stormbolt, doesn't get it. Blessed Shield is out, there's the arrow. Rega is in trouble, gets in the bunker, might still not be safe and gets killed by Hogger a second later. They can't get that counter kill from the looks of it. Instead, it's Tracer that falls. That's 2 heroes that are down, and that is, of course, an absolute disaster for them right now. Yep. Blaze goes down as well. The first one to fall was Rega. Now it's 3 heroes dead. They're trying for Mirrodin. Johan is able to get away here, but yeah, this is pretty much it. Very nicely done from Exodia stack. So a massive attack from them as they came through. We have 10 kills to 8 right now. Bottom of the map. Oh, Junkrat getting killed mid-air. Absolutely popped as they are about to end the game. So very nicely done. Well played. Again, early game, that was more where we saw the red team excelling, but then as the game continued and the blue team started scaling, I mean, of course they started scaling, they have Cure on the team. So Cure's teams always scale. But there it is. Game number 1 goes to the Exodia stack. They lock in the 1-0 on Dragonshire against top 2. GG, and well played.
Before we head into game number 2, make sure that you subscribe to the channel if you haven't done it yet so you don't miss out on any future content here on Khaldor TV.
Garden of Terror, map number 2. The Exodia stack has taken the lead in this winner bracket semifinal in our best of 5. And, well, off to the races. I gotta say, very impressed by top 2 as well. They've been doing well in game number 1. Very strong opening. Started to fall behind a little bit. Yeah, somebody pointed out to me, which I actually missed, that Muradin did not go for the traditional level 13. Now, a reminder, on level 4 he went for the double clap, so I automatically assumed that we would get healing static on level 13, but I didn't double check on it, and he didn't. He actually went for damage. So Johan really dropped on survivability without Avatar, and then without healing static as a synergy tool with his level 4 talent. Yeah, a little bit questionable if you ask me, and I pointed out that he died quite a few times. So personally, I'm not really the biggest fan of that style. I don't want to say that that's the reason why they were struggling towards the later stages of the game, but I just hate Playmaker. It's fun, more fun than Avatar, but when we're talking about win rates, if you just look at the last few tournaments that we had, that includes the North America tournament, the Hanzo Genji Cup, it includes the Korean tournament, and now what we've seen also on the European side. Playmaker's win rate is pretty abysmal. I'm not saying you can't win a game with Playmaker, but I highly doubt that you're winning it because of Playmaker. So, bit on the fence there. I mean, there is quite a bit of prize money in this tournament on the line. I think it's 3,500 at this point. So it's not really a tournament where you just simply go in and you say like, nah, whatever, we're gonna have some fun and we're just gonna, you know, joke around a little bit. So you want to win these games. So obviously they believe that would give them the best chance to take it. But from my end, it's a question mark. This case, we're locking in Johanna immediately. I mean, I really assume that they're going to swap heroes around. I don't think Play is going to end up with Johanna. But now we get Brightwing. And what's the second pick for the team? Hogger is up, by the way. Garden of Terror and Hogger has not been banned. So there he is, as an early pick. Yep. Actually a little bit surprising. Garden of Terror is usually insta-ban on Hogger. There's so many mercenary camps here that most of the teams just decide from the get-go, yeah, Hogger is out. Not dealing with him taking all of the camps and then, of course, on the waves in the fights either. Jojo. What are they going to follow that up with? Could go on a big map for a couple of globals, of course. You also want to have some heroes that are doing work on camps, and that's where Greymane shines, as does Rhaegar with a shield. I really want to see if they're actually swapping a couple of the roles over for this game right now. Yeah. Anyways, third ban as we're heading into game number 2. And we get Avatar. I mean, not really a bad thought with that. You have Greymane on the other side, so if you get the double Greymane, that could become a problem. Falstad gets banned out, so they're already starting to eliminate some of the globals that could be used here. Falstad also with Gust to disengage or to gust somebody into a corner, so that's the next one. But as we're heading into our next double pick for the blue team, what are we getting? Main tank for Benny is something that interests me in particular. Q again with Hanzo. So, yeah, that's Varian. Told you. And it's always Toy Soldier Varian for Benny. Also in this game, no exception. But yeah, it seems like Cure has a couple of heroes where he's completely confident playing them cross-server. And Hanzo is one of them. So again, the same hero that he played on the last map. If he gets those personal picks, then fantastic. I mean, obviously, he could always at any point play something like Zeratul, but that's something that he would probably much rather play in a low-ping environment on his own server than here. Chen and Samuro. Yeah, already a bit of a reminder of the Chen main tag that we see from Capybara and a few others in the Korea tournament. We get Samuro together with that too, and that leaves us with the final pick. Once again, it's Dino for the blue team that has to make the final choice. But I like myself a Chen, and I like Samuro even more, so this could be fun. We have a very melee-heavy lineup now for top 2 as they're heading into this. And Dino, the final pick for some added damage here on Garden of Terror, our second map in the best of 5, and it's Jaina! Okay, Jaina is in the house. Let's go, ladies and gentlemen. Garden of Terror, Exodia stack against top 2. Game number 2, and on the left side we have Exodia stack with Dainu on Jaina here in Garden of Terror, Bishops on Hanzo, Yasu's playing Brightwing, Bad Benny on Varian, and Copenhagen is playing Hogger. To the right side of the map, top 2 with Danozovsky on Rega, we get Banana H on Greymane, Johan on Samuro, Play is playing Johanna, and we got Casper on Chen. So they definitely swapped some of the heroes around here, and as a main tank we're now having Jojo played by Play, as up at the top it is now, well actually, first of all, we're having a bit of an attack for the structures here, as down at the bottom of the map, that's where Johan is currently moving with Samuro, but they're gonna get essentially a tower for free up here. So, not too bad. Okay, coming in here very quickly, get the tower, and then just heading back and all of that easily in time. So, not really a big deal. Bishops is now playing for Cure, by the way, so there was actually a swap after the draft was over. Cure, who was subbing in for Bishops, left the game, and Bishops came in. So, big shout out to Cure once again for subbing for the blue team. And we're now back with the normal lineup for Exodia stack over here. And the pick obviously works still extremely well for the Exodia stack. Bishop's one of his best heroes, is definitely Hanzo. He's going to be very happy with that too. Dino getting a bit bullied in the meantime. Should be able to also get some really nice baseline stacks. Banana at the top is... He's essentially the only range damage for the team, and even he in Worgen form would of course then go full melee. So you have to be a bit careful in this one. It's gonna be quite interesting, because what we're seeing at the end of the day is the team going heavily into... I mean, once that they commit to a fight with a very heavy melee heavy lineup, when they really commit to something, they are in the battle, and that's just what it is. So we'll see how this is going to pan out for them as all of this continues. But yeah, only Greymane as a range damage dealer, and even when he makes a commitment, he will be melee. They need to roll over the opponent in the bigger team fights. It's always an issue when you are falling behind, because once you fall behind, you can't just sit at a safe distance and poke against your opponent. You have to still get in range and allow them to make potential engagements, especially with stuns. That can make things very, very inconvenient. Now, we'll see how this is going to play out for them. Right now, things are still totally fine, of course. Greymane is going to excel on those camps. We're going to see the same happening with Hogger. Rega is going to help out on the red team. And all in all, this is still going to be... I mean, with Samuro in particular, it's going to be pretty interesting how they're going to do this. Samuro is always mega annoying. You cannot get the camps and push with them, swap around a bit. But as you can see, the doggy duo, Greymane and Rega, are already on the case and making one play after another here. In the meantime, top side, Johan, they want him, but they might not be able to take him down yet. And we already have Chen, for example, moving in to try and take over here. So yeah, he's on the move. Down at the bottom of the map, still a bit of pork happening as Copenhagen is making his plays. Yep. And all the way up to the top side, we now have Casper moving around, making his move away. Again, at the end of the day, right now, early stages. We haven't seen a single kill yet. Everybody is going through the early game motions, is trying to see what they can actually do in regards to quick kills. Rega, in this case, is the first victim of that little brawl that we had down here. So with level 4 already available, as level 7 is now in the hands of the blue team, they were able to come in with a quick taunt from Varian, and this is where things get dangerous. Once you have a taunt and you follow that up with a burst damage from Jaina, you know you're going to get value. Benny has been playing this particular style for such a long time. Doesn't matter if you have Hanzo or Jaina in the mix, but any kind of burst damage that he can dish out is going to become a problem very quickly for the target. So he's going to attempt to play through that MO over and over again. And if you're able to then target the support specifically, I mean, hey, even better. He's the one that is supposed to keep everybody alive. But in this case, Danozovsky had no chance to keeping Jojo alive. She falls, she's down. And that is the second kill that gets picked up by the blue team, who is now half a level ahead, roughly. 2 kills to 0, and has started to do some damage on that bottom fort too. So, they're doing well. Break the wall down. Top side, the same thing is gonna happen now. But yeah, job very well done. Greymane, of course, is always someone who can bring this back. Oh, damn, Samuro taken out in the mid lane. That should not have happened. Got Hanzo. But Greymane, as he comes in with Worgen form, is at least going to be able to shred pieces off that wall down here.
Gather the seed, heroes, quickly.
I mean, there's a 1-level lead now, and 4 kills to 0. If you contrast that with game number 1, there's a big difference right now. Game number 1 was a situation in which the blue team was initially behind and then turned it around at some point. Here, they are in the lead right from the start. So there's a lot of momentum that is currently building up for them, and they have just taken the second seed. So seed number 2 is claimed. We have level 10 already in their hands. This is really tricky for top 2. This is not looking too good for them right now. I mean, obviously, at this point, they just need to sit tight, right? They can't really do anything. You gotta sit tight, you gotta wait for your own level 10, soak the experience, catch the waves as they come in, not move out too much, especially when you don't really know where your opponent is. So as long as they're hiding in fog of war, as they're hiding vision, you need to just ensure that you are not moving out there, giving them too many opportunities to do anything. So, as it stands right now, we have seed number 3 spawning. They will get level 10 with it. They're even able to take one of their camps, maybe even the second one here too. We're getting the barrel. In this case also, it's Blade Storm that they're picking up for Samuro. So more wave clear for them and a bit more prowess during those team fights. But the seed is spawning another 10 seconds, and they need at least somebody down at the bottom of the map that can delay this a bit. They attempt to push at the top, which is not bad. But they need to ensure that that seed does not go over to the blue team, or they're going to get their first set of Garden Terrors, which you should probably try and avoid here. Greymane is already on the next camp. Blue team hasn't really made a play yet. Not as I say, they actually lock it in. So there it is. Seed is claimed, and the game goes on. Honestly, sometimes with the early Garden Terrors, I really think that is intentional. Because if you now fight for those and delay it, your opponent is still going to get Garden Terrors eventually. If you just let it slide and you try to get value somewhere else, then it's at least the weak version of the Garden Terrors that they have. So I don't necessarily... Oh, well, if they get kills, it's a different story. I was about to say I don't necessarily expect them to get too much here. Great Ancestral! Damn, they didn't follow up with the kill quickly enough. And so the Ancestral was good, but Chen is down a second later. Well, alright. I mean, here in this case, first the top side, here comes the arrow. This is where they are saving Greymane. Chen falling a moment later. He was kicking everybody around and he gets trapped there. So now the push at the bottom. This does way more damage than I expected it to. I mean, way more damage. Look at this. 2 forts down, and they're likely going to lose a keep now. I don't think they expected that either. I really thought that they were looking at this saying like, yeah, well, give them the seed, we're going to defend. It's early game Garden Terrors. This is easily defensible. And now they are down 5 kills, and in structures, it's just an absolutely horrific situation that they're facing. I mean, this is just the worst. They're so far behind, it's crazy. 5 kills to 0, 1.5 lead for the other team. Same time, you're looking at keep lost, forts lost. Whoa. As far as first objectives go, that one was glorious. I mean, kudos to the Exodia stack for getting that much value out of it. Don't see that all that often. So, yep, nicely done. I'm not sure if the red team can recover from this. They're obviously going to pick up their level 13 talent in a moment, so it's going to be the first step to try and make that happen again. Brightwing at the top is now pushing for 4-2. I mean, Brightwing not really known for all the lane prowess, but still. Damage output is also telling you quite a lot here. If you're taking a quick look at the damage output that we're getting from someone like Greymane, he's barely sitting at 11,000 damage. And then you look over to the other side. 4 heroes have more damage than he does. And Jaina is essentially, sorry, Hanzo is essentially doubling it. So it's kind of crazy. Not really a good position for you to be in if you're trying to turn the game around. Somebody needs to step it up big time if they want to have a chance here. Because right now, the blue team is going through their opponents like hot butter through cheese. No chance whatsoever here. I mean, 6 kills to 0. We now have topside. Jaina still trying to burn the next wave down pretty easily. Yup. That allows them to go for the topside fort. And quick reminder, this is the last one. This is the last fort that they still have standing here. So... yeah, not really all that great. That one's going to and another seed is about to be picked up. Right now, let's be honest, the red team has to make some big plays. They need to really start winning a huge team fight and absolutely run over the opponent in a big battle, or they are going to go on a 0-2 in this best of 5. I mean, that's what it currently looks like. Crazy comebacks can always happen, but now you're 2 levels behind. You don't have level 16 talents. Your opponents already picked them up. That puts you in a very, very awkward spot, to say the least. So, yeah, they're just soaking experience as much as they can. Seed is spawning in 20 seconds, which essentially means nothing else but, hey, there's going to be a 2-0 seed count for the blue team. Which, of course, translates into these guys have taken 5 seeds in a row. Not really big good news for you if you're on the red team. And if you're playing a very melee-heavy lineup, it is difficult being in a situation like this. I touched upon it a bit earlier. If you have a melee-heavy lineup, then getting back in a spot like that is really, really tricky. So here comes the next taunt. Varian again, trying to set the rest of the team up. Not quite successful in that instance. But, well, let's see if they can do a bit more here. We have by now still level 17 already on the board. Big push with catapults now at the bottom of the map too. We're only 11 minutes in, so at least that not too big of a problem just yet. But if you now have 2 camps and catapults pushing for the core, and the 3rd catapult coming in too, this is starting to become a little bit crowded down here. I mean, look at this.
Are you ready?
They are obviously reacting to it as they have to, but damn. There's a bit of a crisis that was emerging. I would have honestly liked to see how much damage they can do to the core at an 11-minute mark. This is still pretty early in the game, but it would have been amusing to see how much damage that does this early in on a map. It would have been kind of funny. Push at the top now, also happening. We're having right now the next camp pushing in. In the meantime, of course, there's also another seed up. And this is another set of Garden Terrors. They're not even fighting for it. Another set of Garden Terrors. They're coming straight in. And, yep, 6 kills to 0 now. It's honestly, it's... they're gonna lose way too much here now. This is going to be more than ridiculous. They should lose at least 1 key, probably more. They might lose the game here. A 2-level advantage. Then on top of that, of course, not even a single kill yet for top 2. They're going to be in massive trouble here. As is, we're having in the middle still Hanzo trying to defend. Arrow is missing, so I guess a bit of good news at least for top 2. But the Exodia stack is now aggressively pushing for the top side keep, and they should be able to at least drop that. Core is now under attack from another Garden Terror. In the middle, this one is pushing in for it as well. That's the end of Jojo, and with Johanna down and them aiming for Rhaegar, they should be able to drop another keep. Maybe even 2. Core might even take some damage with the catapult helping out here. But yep, the keep on the top side is gone, and they're not going to be happy with only that. They want more. They're already poking at the core. It's down to 99%. There's the taunt, and Chen is destroyed. Chen doesn't stand a chance. Hanzo with hit after hit against the core, making sure that shield doesn't regenerate here. They really, really want to win this one. And now the attempted kill on Brightwing that failed. So this is the end of Greymane and the end of Rhaegar. They're dead. They're done. This is it. This is 10 kills to 0. And essentially a perfect game by Exodia stack as they lock in another victory on Garden of Terror. The 2-0 advantage in the best of 5 here in the winner bracket semifinal. GG. On direct pass, game number 3. So the Exodia stack is stepping it up big time. I mean, a perfect game number 2. Not a single death on their end, and they didn't lose a fort. I suppose you could argue maybe a little bit if you really wanted to nitpick that it wasn't a perfect game because they at least lost a tower up at the top lane. They might have lost another tower or 2 down at the bottom of the map, but they didn't lose a fort, and they didn't lose a single hero. So that was quite the performance here by Exodia stack. So right now we get Sylvanas banned out, we have Maiev banned out on all direct pass, which might actually be our last map in this particular best of 5. This is obviously a situation in which right now we have match point for the blue team. Exodia stack has pulled ahead. Jojo gets banned out too. I wonder if Nubarak is going to make an appearance here. I'm still contrasting a lot of the picks that we're getting also with what's happening over on the Korean side, what we saw with the meta there. And Nubarak seemed a little bit more prevalent in their meta than it is currently in Europe. In Europe, obviously, Nubo and Aldrich made waves for like quite some time, with Masquerade in particular pushing it, and then started to slowly disappear. Because everybody now picked up on the fact that the Nubarak can just grab the prisoner camp whenever he wants by himself. Now, you still see him occasionally, but he's not anymore such a high priority pick or a frequent pick as we've seen, let's say, a year or year and a half ago. Lucio is the first pick with Danazovsky. Maiev got banned out again. Same is also true for, in this case, Maiev. But, well, let's see. What are Dino's boys now taking? I personally, with Lucio, I'm always a little bit interested what they're going for, because what I would really love to see is some kind of rotational play, you know, that can shut down the opponent quickly. We got Blaze, we got Hanzo, so that already secures a very strong side lane. Bishops with Hanzo is going to be very happy about that pick. It's the third time, by the way, that they're playing Hanzo now in a row. So whenever they have a chance, they do that. Not only for Bishops, but also for Kyo beforehand. And that leaves us with a Nubarak. So we're getting him after all. A Nubarak is in the house. And yeah, with that, we're gonna get a bit of solo prisoner camp action. Or at least you would assume so. Essentially means for the blue team, they just have to really pay attention, call out when the Nubarak is missing, double check a bit what's happening around the prisoner camp, so that he can't sneak it in by himself. But you're also then going immediately for a bit more of a dive combo, of course. So if Nubarak starts to engage in any kind of attack here, then who's going for the follow-up? If you're playing with Hogger, you can either shockwave it up or jump in together with him with the Horda Bolt. I think in Europe it's a little bit more prevalent to go shockwave right now. If you look over what we've seen in the Korean tournament over the last couple of weeks, it was mainly Horda Bolt. Falsa gets banned again, so they want to shut down the globals here. With Blaze already taken, it's highly unlikely that they're going for the Haka. And here comes again Varian Malfurion. I told you, in game number 1 in the draft already, this is very reminiscent from what Bad Benny played before he took his hiatus. So now we have him with Taunt, Blaze follow-up with Jet Propulsion, Malfurion with a couple of roots on the ground. Hanzo can also drop an arrow if he wants to. So lots of single target damage again. Very, very similar to what happened in the previous game too. They're definitely looking to kill heroes, and Lucio will have to try and shut that down as best as he can, as we're now getting the final 2 picks. And there's Abathur! Abathur and Genji. So that's making this very annoying for the backliners. Tracer gets immediately locked in. That leads us straight into Aldrich Pass, match point number 1 for the Exodia stack. Everybody, so let's see if they can take top 2 down again, or if the red team is going to start a reverse sweep here on Aldrich. Match point number 1, the Exodia stack over on the left with Dino and Tracer, Bishops on Hanzo, Copenhagen on Blaze. We're getting Bad Benny on Varian and Yasu on Malfurion. Towards the right side of the map, top 2 with Casper on Hogger. We get Danozovsky on Lucio. Johan on Abathur, I like that. And play with the Nubarak, of course. Banana H is playing Genji in game number 3 of the best of 5 series. And we are off to the races. First thing to point out here with Abathur in the mix is, of course, immediately that we have a very different build from what was played in the Korean tournament. Everybody that watched the Korea Cup was already seeing that every time essentially that we had any plays with Abathur, there was always a toxic nest focus within the first few talents. Dropping even Mule on level 7 in order to fully focus on the toxic nest. Here over on the European side, we're starting things off again with the pressurized clans on level 1. It's obviously mainly Genji that is going to get the assistance here. I suppose Hogger, depending on the situation, is also going to get some help. But as it stands, our first Abathur game. So, let's see how much he can do with that. Abathur is always a fun one. I personally I mean, who doesn't like Abathur? Abathur is universally loved. He is an I mean, he's the best. Let's just be clear about that. Abathar is clearly the best. He's amazing. He always will be amazing. And we'll just see what he can do to help the red team turn things around and maybe make some plays towards a potential game number 4. If they don't want to go down into the loser's bracket, then they gotta step it up now and win this one. So they're already making a play for Benny. A little bit of a block, a boop, a quick stun, but it's all not enough to really threaten Varian. He doesn't have level 4 yet, so it's just an oversized minion at this point. I mean, right here, right now, Varian is an oversized minion. Nothing else. So as the game continues and he picks up his level 4 talent, it all of a sudden becomes useful. But until then, he is just, yeah, not really a thing. So if you lose him all of a sudden in the crowd of a minion wave, then don't worry about it. That happens to the best of us. It's because he basically has the same use as Spectre. But any second now we get taunt, and then things change very quickly. So taunt is in. Also gives us the Incinerator Gauntlets, and it's time to party. They're already falling it back immediately. They're like, alright guys, let's be careful with this. Having Abathar, of course, also means that there's one less body to taunt. So there's a few less opportunities to try and make some sneaky plays. But for now, we're just waiting for the first objective to be announced. It's going to be in a couple of seconds. There it is. Top side. Dino. Yeah, trying to get a kill. No! Tracer! Ah, the slug gets out. Sneaky. Dino a little bit sneaky, but they kill Hogger. They kill Hogger, but then again, on the other side, Copenhagen falls down at the bottom of the map, so it's a trade. But sneaky move against Abathar at the top lane. Yeah, I like that he actually tried it, but also decent reaction. I mean, he already realized what was happening. If that bomb connects, of course, with Abathar, then it's a very different story. But as it didn't, as Abathar was able to dodge it and just slug around a bit, it's just all fine. So Hogger is continuing to take the camp over on the right side. Ever since Taunt hit, the team hasn't really been able to do too much yet with that specific talent. Hogger fell, but they got a counter kill, so that's fine. Nobody has made a move for the prisoner camp up to this point yet. So this is still going to happen eventually, but up to now, nobody has really done anything. Kill for a kill. We get Needle Spine, as usual, for Abathar. And we get Under King for Nubarak. So again, more of a dive focus for him. Mule, as per usual agreement. And the only question that I honestly have is what exactly Nubarak is going to take. If he's going to fully commit to this, or what his plans are. But yeah, with that, in the middle, still a bit of a push. Level 7 talents have kicked in for everybody. The only one that hasn't made a choice yet is actually a Nubarak. Bishops with an interrupt. Banana H is trying. Genji was jumping in too. Tracer zipping around. Keep those toxic nests in mind. There's the taunt, and Lucio is just instantly dead. These are exactly the kind of plays that you want to make here. Comes in, sees the opportunity, drops a taunt, the root is there as an insta follow-up, and that eliminates Lucio. You can't get this close to Varian in a situation like this without dying. At least not against a player like Benny. He has all the experience in the world, and he's going to punish you for that. So, yeah, Lucio's just way too squishy. So Lucio goes down. Can be a nuisance later, of course, too. Once the map opens up a little bit, then you have Lucio zipping around with, let's say, an Abathar symbiote. He can chase you down with that extra damage that he gets there. So this could become a problem, but for now, it's not really a big deal just yet. So the attack keeps happening. First objective is going to be taken by the blue team, and they get another kill. Lucio is dead again. Gets shredded here. So not only did they get the objective, but they also kill Lucio again. They are unlikely to hit level 10 around the time that they're pushing with the cavalry. But they... Oh, actually, now that they're spreading out on all 3 lanes, you know what? With that minion wave in the middle and with Tracer now going up against the next up at the top, they're gonna get level 10 with this. So this might actually hurt a lot more than I initially expected it to. Because there's a good chance that with heroic abilities and the cavalry, they're now going to be able to get additional kills and maybe take some of those forts out. Already Lucio... Genji gets attacked. And yeah, mixed out, so it doesn't die, but the Hanzo's arrow came through and immediately got a big hit in. Half of the hit points on the mid lane fort are gone. Play! Boah! Dives in again, and gets out. He actually gets away. Ridiculous. No hit points, and he was just like, yeah, well, whatever. But they're losing the fort. They lost a lot of hit points, by the way, at the bottom fort too. This one is, of course, going to go the way of the dodo bird. Yep. Fully annihilated. And now at the top, the next attack is happening, and I think they're going to get this one as well. This doesn't really look good with the team rotating over. It's gone, and that's rough. But Anubarak surviving was actually pretty crazy. I mean, look at this. Anubarak has no hit points here. None. Gets a shield out, and then is able to dive back in. Subterranean shield kicking in, of course, too. And with the help of Avatar, makes his way out of the fight. Him not dying there is a bit crazy. So, yeah. Quick attack at the boss at the bottom of the map. At the top, we're seeing the same thing. So, both of them, they're having the attacks coming. Yep, 3 kills to 1. And down at the bot lane, they're going to get this one as well. By now, of course, both of the teams with level 10 abilities, so things are starting to get a little bit better in those team fights from here on out for the red team. But, let's see. Casper currently sitting tight. And there's the arrow! Wow, they got it? Okay. That could have been a bit dicey. The arrow just thrown out as they were realizing what's going on, but the boss already taken. That timing just barely worked out for the red team. Now they have, of course, one advantage with Mule that they can use in these situations. But the entire team on the left side is now busy taking out the boss, dropping it quickly. Top side, similar picture. This one also just barely moved through the wall. When it comes to the damage output, we have 20,000 now for Hanzo. Banana is pausing the game. I honestly expected, if anyone, the blue team to pause the game so that Benny can go for some train shenanigans again, as in the good old days. But now it's the red team that goes for a quick pause here. Not quite sure if any... Yeah, actually, Lucio disconnected from the game. So Lucio dropped out, Danazovsky currently gone. Team defending at the top, as I already said, so they've done well here. Down at the bottom of the map, they still gotta defend against this, which is not necessarily gonna be easy. With 4 heroes now pushing against 2, oh, well, 5 even. Yasuo's there too. Yeah, this is gonna be the bottom fort, so they're gonna lose another one. This is the final fort that's gonna fall. It's tough. I mean, we'll see how things continue once that Lucio is back, but suffice it to say that this is not an easy situation for the red team at all, and it is match point already. Alright, actually good news for once. He came back. So, just as they decided that they would play it out with the bot, Danazovsky reappeared and is now back to play with the team. Kudos, first of all, to top 2 that they're willing to play this out with the bot and did not make a big fuss about it or anything. So, yeah, kudos to them. But right now, let's just see what exactly the team can pull off with their support back to business. If they can make some big moves here. Okay, already the prisoner camp is getting locked in potentially again, so they're going to make a move on that. Blue team is obviously heavily ahead. I mean, yeah, not much to say on this one. They are just in such a fantastic position right now, where they can easily, you know, try and make some big plays with a level 30 talent advantage, with all of the forts destroyed, push for a keep if they get another one. Now this attempt gets shut down, at least at first, but we'll see how much more they can do from here on out. I mean, currently, for example, they're going to look for kills again with Variant. There's already Cocoon against him as they're trying to target Dino, Jet Propulsion. Yeah, but they get Malfurion. Malfurion is eliminated. Arrow misses completely. Banana H is trying to drop out, but at least they got another kill. So they're saving Banana H. He's still alive. They were able to move everybody back out of the fight, and with Malfurion gone, that means there's no healer on the side of Exodia stack right now. So good news for top 2. Finally a move that worked in their favor. No! And then Danazovsky gets nearly killed there. But it was a ruse! It's a trap! Bait all along. They're going for Bishops and they're taking him down. Bishops gets eliminated. So Lucio was just dangled in front of them like a keychain, and then they went in for the kill after the blue team engaged. Even in a 4 versus 5, they thought they could get a quick kill here, and it turned out, nope, not happening. Oh, and they're going for Benny too. Damn, what's happening all of a sudden? That's 3 kills in a row in favor of top 2. Whew. They're absolutely crushing it all of a sudden here. So Danazovsky disconnecting somehow reinvigorated the team, it seems. and they're starting to do way better on this one. 17,000 damage now for Genji. We have 27,000 for his brother. But still, that was a very nice sequence of events for them. Yeah, well, that's not so nice. Lucio tanking the arrow, and again, a little bit too far out. I love Danazovsky, specifically his Tyrannum plays, but in this game, he's been killed time and time again, and he's just playing positionally a bit too aggressive. They are getting a counter kill, though. They are able to take out Hanzo, so this is not over yet. I mean, with, for example, Malfurion... okay, Malfurion is low, but Banana H gets hit hard and dies, so... yeah, 5 kills to 5. 15.5 on both sides. Abathur doesn't have the copy anymore, just used the cooldown during the last battle, and now the blue team is moving in for another objective. So, yeah, trying to start the comeback here is not going to be easy. Top 2 is going to try what they can, but it's a bit tough. Now, interrupting this without Genji is just not happening. So, we're going to get another set of cavalry. The cavalry is going to drop in once more and is going to do its thing. Tracer now all the way up at the top and looking for more experience. The teams are both on level 16. There's no talent advantage here, but they're pushing the lanes out to make it easier for the cavalry to get also value out of all of this. So that's another one that they're currently trying to do here. But yeah, pretty interesting situation right now. The red team behind, losing one of their players. He comes back, they're getting 3 kills in a row. They're finally equalizing things. Push, and then with Genji gone, Banana H dying, all of a sudden the blue team is back in the driver's seat. Might not have that lead in experience anymore, that big one. But they are trying to now leverage those cavalries to come in and take big kills here. So, can they do that? 17 to 16 on the kill count now. Quick move into the middle. And now, of course, down at the bottom of the map, still the next aggression from Varian as he moves towards the middle to help the team out here. Bot lane has already been defended, so that cavalry is gone. Taunt, and they're targeting Lucio every single time. Lucio comes in to help anyone out, and they're targeting Lucio. It has been the MO of Varian over and over again. Any kind of aggression that comes in, Lucio is either out of position and gets targeted directly, or they're targeting someone else initially. Lucio makes a move, wants to help out, and then becomes the victim. They're holding back on Taunt, and then Varian just jumps on him whenever he appears in the front, and they blow him to pieces. That has been played out time and time again. I think he died 4 times, 5 times. Yep. 4 deaths, so more than half of the deaths against Lucio. They're specifically targeting Danazovsky with their plays. 6 kills to 5, quick move for the boss at the top lane, and if they want to rotate down here to interrupt this, they got all the time in the world. They can shoot another, well, 17 seconds for the arrow. Yeah, okay, they don't have enough time to make that rotation. But they have enough time to go maybe for the camp at the top and just push for the next keep. And once this keep is gone, that means 2 of the armor shields are removed, so the core is much easier to hit. So, yeah, that's going to be bad news for top 2. They're really on the ropes right now. They're trying to keep standing, but they're absolutely on the ropes here. That boss that they just locked in at the bottom of the map might actually give them... oh, no! I was about to say might give them a fort, but now they're losing an Uberak, and they're going to lose way more than that. Genji copy is about to be destroyed. Arrow goes nowhere, and the keep is already gone. I think this is going to be game. A 5 versus 4 already. Abathur doesn't have the copy any longer, so that's 3 bodies on the floor, and this is a 3-0 victory for the Exodia stack. They're just absolutely crushing it. Hogger gets Hanzo'd, and that's all she wrote. The blue team with an absolute dominant performance in the series and the map. Nicely done. Hitting level 20 just as they're about to end the game and taking Genji down too. That's it. Exodia stack moves on to the winner bracket final, and top 2 drops down into the losers bracket. GG. Well played.
Thank you everybody for watching the video today. I hope that you enjoyed the show and the commentary. And keep in mind that the spoiler protection that is going to run for the rest of the video is made possible by all the support on patreon.com. So guys, if you want to support my work, if you want to help me start new projects and keep the spoiler protection in place, please consider heading over to patreon.com/Khaldor. There's also a link in the YouTube description, and check that out. Thanks in advance, and see you guys next time with more esports coverage here on Khaldor TV. Have a great day.